Yo, what's going on, guys? This is Joey Central here. This was not a video that I planned to upload, but unfortunately, it's one I kind of have to make. Last couple of days, I've been getting a ton of video recommendations talking about how Shift Up is absolutely doomed, how Nikke and Stellar Blade are doomed, how wokeness has killed those two games, and all of that stuff. So, I basically decided to do my own investigation on this topic, and yeah, I'm gonna basically make this video just to tell you guys the truth and what's going on first of all, and then second of all, I'm gonna kind of go on a mini rant about these grifting channels, and I'm gonna explain to you guys exactly why they do what they do and why they don't exactly have your best interest in mind. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is the so-called DEI hire. So basically, this whole controversy stemmed around one guy they hired, Jerome Benzadon, whatever the fuck his name is. He had the words focus on DEI on his LinkedIn profile, which was quickly removed. But basically, this became the whole focal point, and people thought this means that ShiftUp is now focused on DEI, even though they have not created a DEI department. They do not have in their company at all a DEI consultant. Like, they don't have Sweet Baby Inc., right? They don't have any of that. They hired just one dude for a public relations and corporate communications manager position, which has absolutely nothing to do with story writing and game design in general. So basically, this whole thing kind of blew up out of proportion because of a screenshot that went viral because he had the word DEI, and also his background with Sony and what's the other company? Ubisoft, right? So people are concerned, and they're gonna try, that he's gonna try to influence and censor Nikke and Stellar Blade. But the truth is, his position and his role has absolutely nothing to do with game design whatsoever. His role is PR campaigns and coordinating press conferences. He has absolutely zero control over the direction of any of these games. He has no control over the character design. He has no control over the writing or the animations. He does not have control over any of that. Kim Hyung-tae is still in charge. He is still the CEO. The same arts team, the same art style is still being incorporated. Fan service is still Shift Up's MO. That has not changed at all. In fact, this guy actually has played games that does have heavy fan service, like Epic 7 and Uma Museum Pretty Derby. And he even praises Stellar Blade in a very positive light. So he actually seems to have a positive relationship with Stellar Blade and with Shift Ups. But unfortunately, despite that, that screenshot unfortunately came back to haunt him, and basically all the grifters in this community right now are basically blowing this out of proportion, making it seem like he's a DEI hire or he's hiring for DEI consultant, which is not at all what he's doing. And basically, grifters are using this as an opportunity to spread fear and to spread propaganda that Shift Up is embracing DEI. And this absolutely makes no sense because Shift Up moved away from Sony because the fact that they were trying to force Shift Up to change their art style. So why would Shift Up leave Sony and self-publish if they were going to end up incorporating DEI? If that was their future and that was what they were going to do, they would have stuck with Sony. They would have re-signed a new deal with Sony, and they would have absolutely changed art styles completely in the Stellar Blade Blood Rain trailer. But they didn't do that. Instead, Kim Hyung-tae has doubled down on the design of Eevee. He has no intentions on censoring the game whatsoever, and he has doubled down on his decision. So basically, that's why this whole thing is so stupid to begin with. So I want to get that part out of the way. So if you guys who are fans of Nikke, fans of Stellar Blade, you guys have nothing to worry about. This was just a whole nothing burger by these parasites called grifters, and I'm actually going to go on a rant right now about these grifters as well. So these grifters that you guys are watching, these guys basically, their whole MO is basically creating a bunch of outrage and trying to profit off of said outrage. They basically make videos about like wokeness and other things and how it's killing game design, which it absolutely is. But here's the truth about these grifters. These grifters actually support DEI. They support wokeness. And the reason they support that is because their whole economic model is a symbiotic relationship with wokeness. They don't. The truth is, these grifters that make these videos, they don't have your best interest in mind. They want wokeness to continue because their whole business model depends on wokeness. They need wokeness so they can continue producing this type of content that get these high amounts of engagements. And you guys are eating this up. You guys are basically falling for the same propaganda that they're basically doing without doing a lick of research. That's what's going on right now, and you guys are basically falling for their shit. It's one thing to be vigilant and making sure that your franchise does not fall to wokeness, and believe me, if I noticed that's the direction they were going into, I would be calling them out as well. I would be one of the first people to call them out. But I've done my research on this, and this is nothing more than just something that's blown out of proportion by a bunch of grifters who basically just want to make profit from doing this. They're basically parasites. They have a symbiotic relationship with wokeness. They have a symbiotic relationship with this DEI. And truth is, they want DEI to continue. And if you look at that chick Vera, she basically plays all live on stream these woke games. So she basically, in a way, supports them. Supports these bad games by playing these games and live streaming these games. If she really was against wokeness, do you think she would be buying these games? Do you think that she would be live streaming and giving these games exposure? No. By doing that, she's inadvertently supporting it. But you know what? That at the end of the day, her business depends on that. Because without wokeness, if wokeness truly died and video games went back to the way they used to be, these grifters would be job hunting right now. They would have to find a job like everybody else, and they don't want that. They want the gravy train to continue. So why would they want wokeness to come to an end? So overall, my whole video, it basically summarizes to this. There's nothing wrong with Shift Up. There's nothing wrong with Stellar Blade. Stellar Blade's fine. Nikkei's fine. And this is just grifters trying to make a profit. These are just grifters trying to basically spread fake outrage to try to doom people. And with the whole Persona controversy in Nikkei, and that's what allowed it to gain as much traction as possible. But the difference is the Persona characters were censored because of Atlas Games, not because of Shift Up. And if you look at Phantom Skin, which is the gacha skin for Nikkei, you'll notice there's no shortage of fan service anywhere. They actually did an amazing job with Phantom Skin, and that's actually one of the only good things that came out of the collaboration event with Persona, was that. Everything else obviously sucks, but overall, there's nothing. Shift Up's not fucked. They're not doomed. This is just grifters trying to farm engagement, and you guys are giving exactly what they want. So that's it. I just wanted to get that off my chest, man.